Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. This particular cricket happening show is definitely going to begin on a sad note as one of a wonderful leg spinner from Australia. His name was Bob Holland, the right arm leg spinner who made a sensational debut against West Indies in the year 1984 at a very elderly age, I would say. I mean, a very he made a very late debut. I thought he used to play for New South Wales, and that was at the age of 38 that he made a debut against the very strong West Indies team in the year 1984, and that debut was a very memorable one for him. The match was played at the Gabba, and in the very first match, he picked up 10 wickets on his Test debut, which actually brought them victory. And one would and in fact, let me just go over. And the Test debut match was played at the Gabba, which Australia definitely lost. But he picked up a lot. But it was at the SCG that. Bob Holland was very powerful and very effective as he bowled Australia to victories in the SCG Test with 10 wicket hauls, and that was against a very mighty West Indian batting order which consisted of Sir Isaac Vivian Alexander Richards, Clive Lloyd, Desmond Haynes, Gordon Greenidge, Richie Richardson, Malcolm Marshall, Michael Holding, and Joel Garner. So that was the SCG. In West Indies for the first time ever suffered a loss in Test cricket at the SCG. And also, and the reason that I'm talking about this wonderful leg spinner is that today he passed away at the age of 70. So that's the reason I said that I'm starting this cricket happening show on a very sad note. He passed away due to a brain cancer this year, and I thought he had been diagnosed with a sort of brain cancer, and he passed away. But what a bowler. I mean, did not play a lot of matches. He played only a handful of matches. I would say he played 34 Test matches for Australia, and he picked up 34 Test wickets in how many matches he played. I think he did not play a lot of matches. He played 11 Tests and he picked up 34 wickets. But he was a wonderful leg spinner, and Bob Holland's the Australian leg spinner Bob Holland's Test debut would always be remembered because that was the match after West Indies actually beat Australia at the Gabba. That was the match on which not only did Bob Holland make his debut, but also former wonderful player, the captain of the Aussie team, Kimberly Hughes, resigned in tears. And then, as you know, Alan Border became the captain of the team. So that was that is one thing that all remembers when Kim Hughes, the Aussie captain, resigned in tears as West Indies were dominating them right, left, and centre. And as I said, for Bob Holland, his happy hunting ground with the SCG, where he picked up a spadeful of wickets in his very short Test career of 11 Test matches. He also played 2 one-day internationals, and I'm sure, if my memory serves me right, at the Gabba on his debut, he got hammered by the West Indian batsman, if my memory serves me right. I do remember listening to the ball-by-ball descriptions on radio ABC, because on those times the TV was in its infancy in India, and I do remember listening to the likes of the radio cricket commentary where the Australian radio commentators were there in the box, and I do remember his debut very vividly during my school days when Bob Holland actually made his Test debut for Australia. So that's the reason I wanted to start this on a very sad note. May Bob Holland, may his family have the strength to bear this irreparable loss in their life. Well, so let's get on from here. Now we are getting on to real business as far as cricket is concerned. We are starting off with India actually opening up the one-day series today in wonderful fashion. Yes, the match was decided by the Duckworth-Lewis method at the M.A. Chidambaram Stadium here in Chennai. But there was rain which came in, and the match had to be decided by the Duckworth-Lewis method. India were really put on the rack right away by the Australian bowlers, Nathan Coulter-Nile in particular, as they had them reeling at 87 for 5. But Hardik Pandya scoring his highest ODI score of 83 runs of 66 dealt with 5 fours and 5 sixes, a thoroughly accelerating innings from him, and he and Mahendra Singh Dhoni, who kept his cool initially, but when the time came, as normally Dhoni does, he opened up big time and slammed and made 79 runs. And India got to a total of 281. The Aussies were given a revised target due to the Duckworth-Lewis method due to rain. It was 164 to get in 20 overs. Glenn Maxwell was the danger man, but it was Yuzvendra Chahal who bowled very, very well to pick up some key wickets, and that was it. The Australians losing their first match of the ODI series by the Duckworth-Lewis method though by 26 runs, and India taken a 1-0 lead in the 5-match ODI series. So now let's get on to this particular match. Let's get on to what really happened here at the M.A. Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai. So the toss was actually won by India, and Virat Kohli did not have any hesitation in telling his wards to bat first. Well, so his wards batted first, Ajinkya Rahane and Rohit Sharma, and it was Nathan Coulter-Nile. But what one was seeing, and also Hilton Cartwright was given his ODI debut in this particular match. Ajinkya Rahane and Rohit Sharma walked in, and initially one saw that Patrick Cummins and Nathan Coulter-Nile would have been absolutely, they would have been cheered by the fact they probably were seeing something akin to Australian pitches, where the ball was really bouncing a lot, and it is something which is rare on Indian wickets, as you would remember, as you would know, but here there was a real bouncy track in front of them, and that was the time Nathan Coulter-Nile decided to take advantage of. First he picked up the wicket of Ajinkya Rahane, getting him to go at a ball which was going outside the off stump. He was caught behind by Coulter-Nile, caught behind by Wade of the bowling of Coulter-Nile for 5. So that was wicket number 1. And then Virat Kohli walked in, and what a brilliant catch which was taken by Jim Maxwell. A catch where Virat Kohli was dismissed for a blob by Nathan Coulter-Nile, and Nathan Coulter-Nile had taken the very, very big wicket of Virat Kohli. And Virat Kohli was actually trying to slam the ball past the point region, but Glenn Maxwell not only moving back but also putting his hand up and picking up the catch magnificently. And Virat Kohli was gone for a duck. And then more trouble to follow for India. Nathan Coulter-Nile on absolute fire had the Indians at really, really tender hooks here, as Manish Pandey was snapped up by Wade behind the stumps for a duck. And the Indian innings was really slipping around. They were reduced to 11 for 3, and as I said, Nathan Coulter-Nile was an absolute fire. Rohit Sharma was there. Rohit Sharma was trying to gauge the bounce. I mean, he was trying to get to terms with the bounce that was available on this particular track, as Kedar Jadhav joined him, and slowly Kedar Jadhav and Rohit Sharma slowly got together to slowly stitch together a partnership. They started stitching the Indian innings as 53 runs were added. They consumed some overs, but it was absolutely okay, because they definitely had to get out of this big hole that they were into. And that was done by Rohit Sharma and Kedar Jadhav as the score pushed on to 64. And that was the time at 64, Marcus Stoinis picked up the wicket of Rohit Sharma. Once again, Nathan Coulter-Nile was a part of that particular wicket, as he was the one who actually caught the ball when Rohit Sharma mistimed one of the bowling of Stoinis. He was gone for 28 with 3 boundaries, and then Kedar Jadhav was looking well settled on 40, also lost his wicket. Stoinis was once again the man who picked up his wicket. He was gone for 40 or 54 deliveries with 5 fours, which left India in a very, very precarious situation at 87 for 5 in the 22nd over. That's 22nd over. 87 for 5. There were two new batsmen at the crease. The Australians were absolutely over the Indians there in this type of situation. And India definitely they had the most recognized pair at the crease, which was Dhoni and Pandya. And Dhoni, as you know, he's a big crisis man, as we all know. And Dhoni decided to bide his time at the crease, slowly getting the singles, converting it into twos. Hardik Pandya, on the other hand, was also taking it a bit easy, not really trying to hit the leather of the ball. But after a gap of time, it was Hardik Pandya who started it all as he creamed Zampa for 4 fours in a single over. But later on, Hardik Pandya was absolutely in his element. There was absolute clean hitting, and as you know, they had a long on and a long off. But Hardik Pandya, who has this habit of crashing 3 consecutive sixes of the spinners, he did it to Zampa, as Zampa was hit straight, wide, and handsome into the stands for 3 consecutive sixes, as Hardik Pandya really turned on. But Mahendra Singh Dhoni was as sedate as it can be. He was not in a hurry. He was allowing Hardik Pandya to really get on with the Aussie bowling. So Hardik Pandya launching a brilliant counter-attack. As this went on, Mahendra Singh Dhoni was watching it at the other end, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni had not even hit a single boundary in 66 deliveries. And this is what Dhoni can be. So such a sensible approach from Dhoni, as Hardik Pandya clattered the field by hitting sixes. He went after, he hit a wicket, he hit a six of the bowling of Stoinis, and then Steven Smith, even though Hardik Pandya hit him for 3 sixes, decided to give one more trundle to Adam Zampa, and Zampa once again disappeared into the stands. But it was Zampa who had the last laugh before Hardik Pandya, after trying to smash one. In fact, they had a good field also. A sensible field where they brought a straight mid-on for Hardik Pandya, but definitely, and finally it was Hardik Pandya who was caught at short third man by James Faulkner bowling Zampa, but not before he picked up his highest ODI score of 83 of 66 deliveries, 5 fours and 5 sixes. And that is the reason I say that in the Indian team today, Hardik Pandya is the X factor for India. And Hardik, what a partnership, 87 for 5 in 21 overs, and with the counter-attack, brilliant counter-attack from Hardik Pandya and some sedate batting from Dhoni, India had reached 205. It was an 118 runs partnership where Pandya totally dominated proceedings, with Dhoni being a mere spectator, but that was still okay. And Pandya was gone. Pandya finally victim of Zampa. He was gone for 83, but Dhoni was there. He was joined in by Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, and when Hardik Pandya left, it was in the 41st over. Now Mahendra Singh Dhoni, who had been very quiet for 66 deliveries, having only 23 runs to his name with absolutely no boundaries, he decided that was the time to open up, as the death overs were coming up, and Dhoni started doing his job that he does best, and that is to slam 4s and 6s. In fact, he slammed 4 4s and 2 6s in a brain. Now he picked up 39 of 22 balls towards the end. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar impressed in a big manner. As you know, he definitely has the batting capabilities. He hit 5 boundaries in an unbeaten knock. Dhoni was a victim of Faulkner for 79 of 88 deliveries, 4 4s and 2 6s. But thanks to that Dhoni's final thrust, India reached a score of 281 for 7. Also thanks to Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, who was not out on 32 of just 30 deliveries, 5 4s. Kuldeep Yadav was not out on naught. India getting on to a total that probably would have not been within reach with the Indian score in 87 for 5, but they reached 281 for 7. The bowling, Cummins 10 overs, 1 maiden, none for 44. Nathan Coulter-Nile, pick of the bowlers, who really wrapped India early on. 10 overs, no maiden, none, 3 for 44. James Faulkner was a bit costly. Dhoni going after him in a big way at the end of the innings. 10 overs, 1 made and 1 for 67. Stoinis bowled 10 overs, 254. Adam Zampa was slammed for 66 of his 10 overs, but he got the very big wicket of Hardik Pandya. Now Australia, because of the rain which was happening at Chennai, they had to revise the target, and finally it came down to Australia requiring 164 runs from 21 revised overs. And it all started off with Australia doing an experiment here, sending in the all-rounder Hilton Cartwright to open the batting with David Warner. But Hilton Cartwright on his debut definitely struggled there. He had no runs. He only just picked up 1 run of 8 deliveries before Jasprit Bumrah clean bowled him for 1, as Hilton Cartwright attempted a big across the heave shot, and Bumrah was the one who capitalized on that. Stephen Smith was a victim of the bowling of Hardik Pandya. This is what Hardik Pandya can be. What he did is now Hardik Pandya has got something up his sleeve now. He got a sort of a variation in his bowling. He has the knuckle ball, and with the knuckle ball he forced Stephen Smith to actually try to swing a delivery onto the onside, and Bumrah taking the catch. He was gone for 1, and Travis Head was also a goner, caught behind the bowling of Pandya for 5, and this was a similar situation to what India were, but the only difference being that this was only 21 overs side a game. 29 for 3 in the 7th over when Travis Head left the scene. David Warner was there, but David Warner was not able to force the pace, and then the Indian spinners were pressed into action by Virat Kohli, and that really started paying rich dividends as Kuldeep Yadav picked up the wicket of David Warner to sink Australia further at 35 for 4. 25 of 28 deliveries, 2 fours to David Warner. Maxwell walked in, Stoinis, so there were 2 new batsmen, there was Maxwell and Stoinis, but Maxwell did what Hardik Pandya was doing to the Aussies, as Maxwell decided to really go big on the Indians, and he went after the spinners. He started depositing sixes with some tremendous force, as he sent Kuldeep Yadav over the pickets for sixes. Then Yuzvendra Chahal got a bit of severe beating as well, but it was Kuldeep Yadav who was hit for 3 sixes by Glenn Maxwell, and as that was going on, it was Chahal who was also being hit, but Chahal was keeping his cool. He is another guy who likes to flight the ball, and that's what he precisely did. He had a bit of assistance from Mahendra Singh Dhoni, who actually instructed him, and that really paid dividends as Maxwell swung at 1, and suddenly the tempo of the game had really switched with Maxwell walking in, and things were from 35, they galloped to 76 in no time, in 4 overs. Thanks to Maxwell really wielding the willow in a very big manner. He made 39 of just 18 deliveries, 3 fours and 4 sixes, but Chahal won the battle as he floated one a bit high, and Maxwell tried to hit it, and it was Pandya who picked up the catch. He was gone. And after that, so that was the only thing which left. After that, it was very difficult. Stoinis fell a victim to the bowling of Kuldeep Yadav for 3. Matthew Wade was fooled by Chahal when Chahal bowled a wide one outside the off stump. Wade left the crease, and Dhoni had taken the bails in a flash. And Wade has gone for 9 of 10 deliveries, 1-4. And then it left James Faulkner. And as you know, James Faulkner is a very dangerous customer. So definitely, Aussies had definitely some hope there. But the problem was there. Cummins fell a victim to the bowling of Chahal for 9 of 7 deliveries, 1-4. Nathan Coulter-Nile was out for 2. He's another all-rounder as well. But James Faulkner on his own could not really carry this Aussie innings along, as it became too much to handle. And in the final over, they required 34 runs. And Faulkner remained not out on 32 of 25. 1-4-1-6, Adam Zampa was not out on 5. 137 for 9 was what the Aussies ended up with. And it was all over. The game over. They're winning by 25 runs, so India taking 1-0 lead in the series. Hardik Pandya was named man of the series. The bowling, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, 4 overs 1 for 25. Bumrah bowled excellently, 4 overs 1 for 20. Hardik Pandya, 4 overs 2 for 28. Yuzvendra Chahal took some key wickets, and the big wicket of Glenn Maxwell, 5 overs no maiden, 3 for 30. And Kuldeep Yadav bowled 4 overs no maiden, 33 runs and 2 wickets. Game over, India leading the 5-match series 1-0. Well, dear fans, subscribers, there's nothing else to really catch up on. I hope you enjoyed this very exciting cricket broadcast, but as I said, it was very sad to see the passing away of a wonderful leg spinner by the name Bob Holland, who at the age of 70 passed away due to brain cancer. Thanks for your company and thanks for your cooperation as always. This is your host Ram signing off finally this on a Sunday. Thank you.